think, the announcement on the bank's FDI this week as well, India easing up its rules on FDI, do you think that would be enough to change business sentiment? Right now, sentiment is so down. There's no private investment happening even domestically. I mean, Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, other captains of industry have come out publicly to say how worried they are about that. So do you think that these steps are going to help in a couple of quarters at least, as Rajat is saying?
It's very, very difficult. It is extremely difficult. And the main reason why it is extremely difficult is because it is not an issue of government support, and it's not an issue of just the government deciding that credit growth has to improve. It's a regulatory tax, and also it comes from the risk perceived by economic agents. So although it might be a step in the right direction, a historical problem is to believe that government-led banks are going to support the economy better than private-led banks. That's not going to happen. That doesn't happen. The issue of malinvestment that one of the female commentators was mentioning before does not disappear because of government intervention. It increases because of government intervention. The governments don't have better or more information about what the real economy requires and what economic agents need than professionals. And politically driven stimuli generate, obviously, a short-term impetus. We've seen it in the past. But what this government needs to do to strengthen the Indian economy, which is fantastic, which has tremendous potential, no question about it, what it has to do is to abandon demand-side policies. What it is doing is creating the policies that will generate further stagnation in the future. The last two budgets in particular have been extremely damaging for long-term growth.
If I could just interrupt and ask you, what are the policies that they are talking about that you think will only increase stagnation in the future?
This constant idea that the government decides which economic agents win and which economic agents lose, the constant subsidization of low productivity sectors against higher taxation.
India is not China at all. I mean, our economic model of growth is completely different. China has an export-oriented growth model for their economy, and India is consumption-driven primarily. So it is unfair to even compare India with the Chinese model, because let's compare apples to apples. It's not the same at all. But having said that, what Daniel was saying is, I would give a different perspective. I think the government is focusing on the small and medium sector. They have done so with the reforms that they have come out. What we are seeing of the 5% GDP growth is a very lagged effect because of the effect of the GST and the fact that the input credit cost did not come. I mean, these were teething problems, right? This is bound to happen when you have reforms.
You expected 5% today?
5% is a very negative number. However, I would think this number should improve going forward after 2 quarters. Because I don't think it is, I agree with the RBI, I don't think it's a very, very structural issue. I think it's a very, very cyclical issue right now, what is happening.